Welcome in to a week 4 edition of our NFL Survivor Pool picks. Hopefully you guys had a good week 3. If you watched last week's video, I was interested in the Jaguars, so hopefully you guys um, did what I said and checked back with me on the weekend. So I'll touch on this before we head into week 4. I have my main pool pulled up here that I have 4 entries in. I ended up with 1 Jaguars, 2 Patriots, 1 Chiefs. So 3 of my 4 advanced. Last week was a huge week. The Dallas Cowboys were very popular, and the Jacksonville Jaguars were very popular. So if you avoided those 2 teams, you're looking pretty good because my pool it's well below 100 people overall now, and I still have 3 entries alive. So we're starting to get to where if you're still alive in your pools, you're getting to where things start to look like you can make a run. So hopefully you guys are still alive. I want to note that I've said this. This is the 3rd week doing this video, and I've said it the first 2 weeks. Above all, Survivor pools, like a March Madness bracket, is one big math problem. I don't even care about the matchup of the teams. I do not want to take popular teams each week. I don't want to do it. I would rather play the odds and the probabilities than sit here and debate individual matchup takes. Like, I just don't think that's how you win long term, especially in a bigger pool. So last week when I did the video, the reason I was interested in the Jacksonville Jaguars so much is because it appeared that people were going to look at San Fran on Thursday night, Kansas City against the Bears, and Dallas against Arizona, and that was going to leave us, Jacksonville, as a low-owned team that I thought had a good chance to win their game at home. So the reason I said you guys need to check back with me, I do a stream on Saturday nights at 9 o'clock, 9:30 that you can tune into and ask me about. I'm in the Discord all week, so if you get in the Discord, you can ask me. I know a number of people ask me about it in the Discord throughout the week. And then I do a stream on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. that a lot of people ask me about Survivor stuff then too. So that's why it's important to check back, because Travis, who's in the Circa Million Survivor contest, he posts the image in our Discord every week of the percentage picks from the Circa Millions contest. And on Wednesday, when I did the video, it appeared to me that Jacksonville was going to be low owned and a team that I thought had a good chance to win. So that's why I was interested in using them. Come to find out, Travis drops that image on the weekend in the chat, and Jacksonville's the most popular pick by a wide margin in the Circa Millions contest. So do I want to take the most popular pick any week? No. So obviously, by the time the weekend got here, I wasn't very interested in using Jacksonville if they're going to be the most popular pick. So I came on to New England pretty late in the week. We had them as the number 1 predicted team to win in our moneyline predictor against the Jets. If you want to dive into individual matchup takes, I mean, Bill Belichick had won like 14 straight games against the New York Jets. Zach Wilson in his career against the Patriots, two touchdowns to 7 picks. Their starting left tackle was out. Looked like a really good spot for the Patriots. They were completely unowned. So I almost went just 3 Patriots, 1 Chiefs, but I copped out, went 1 Jags. It burned me, but still have 3 alive heading into week 4, which is good. So like I said, I'm going to give my early thoughts on the week here in this video, but make sure you check back, especially after we get that updated pick information from the Circa Millions contest. Makes things a lot easier to decide where you want to go. So I have 3 entries alive. Moving on to week 4. Hopefully you guys are still alive in your pools as well. I'm going to pull up our live trends tool so we can look at some Vegas odds for week 4. Here we go. All right, so this is where I think right now, like I said, last week, San Fran was very popular. Jacksonville was very popular. Dallas was very popular. Kansas City was popular. That was like the 4 teams that people were going to, and 2 of them lost. So a big chunk of your guys' pools probably got eliminated last week, and a big chunk of your pool that advanced to this week used KC or San Fran. So on my 2 entries where I haven't used either of those two teams, I have a big advantage because those are two of the most valuable picks to have left in your pool, and most people have used them already. So I still have those guys at my disposal. I do think San Fran will be of whatever percentage in your pool that didn't use San Fran already will be using them this week. They're at home against Arizona. They're minus 900 on the money line. I'm considering using them, even if they're popular. I don't know how they could be super popular in pools where they've been used a lot already, but I'm considering using them on two of mine this week. As of now, I'm going to see later on in the week. Like I said, we'll see what happens. But right now, I do think San Fran is the easiest pick, the safest pick, and I'm considering using them on two of mine. But I'm going to wait and see because I do think San Fran is a very, very valuable team to have left. So maybe I want to save them. But I think the safest pick right now, I would go San Francisco. Other than that, I'm going to talk about a couple teams that I think we could use instead of San Francisco. Obviously, if KC against the Jets, I wouldn't hate using KC here, honestly. We looked at KC's schedule last week, and it wasn't like they had a ton of easy spots. Now, they're going to be favored in pretty much all their games remaining for the rest of the season, but they were huge favorites last week against the Bears. So this is a spot where I think you could use KC. I know they're on the road, but as long as the New York Jets play Zach Wilson, I just don't know how you think that the Jets can win a game. I mean, I know they beat the Bills with him, but that was him coming in, and that was just a different situation. I don't know how you could think this guy is going to win them a football game. So I know they signed Trevor Siemian. We may see him some on Sunday. I don't know. But if you wanted to go Chiefs, I wouldn't blame you. But let's talk about some lower options I think we can consider here. First and foremost, if you want to get sweaty, if you want to get just disgusting in your survivor pools, if you're in a larger field pool and you want to get weird, if this ends up as if this ends up as a popular move, I wouldn't advocate for it. But if this ends up as just not very owned, the Denver Broncos. These two toilet stain teams are somehow matching up this week. How did the NFL plan this out to where we get Denver Broncos and Chicago Bears this week? I mean, if you are only in the 1 o'clock Eastern window on Sunday, if you are only watching this game, you are an absolute sicko. The Broncos just lost by 50 points. The Chicago Bears are definitively the worst team in football. Of course, these two teams match up this week. I will say there is a big negative trend working for the Bears coming off. Basically, I think the trend, I'll have to go find it, but I think it was teams that are 0-3 ATS, and then they're underdogs in week 4. It has historically not been a good spot. Like I said, they're at home, but I literally think the Bears are the worst team in football. I mean, they're just completely dysfunctional right now. So if you wanted to get weird and consider the Denver Broncos, I think you can. Both these teams are horrible. Both teams are 0-3. If it becomes a popular move of people like, oh, maybe we can use Denver this week, then I would not, 100% would not do it. But if it's not going to be owned, I would consider potentially Denver over Chicago. It's a divisional game, so someone in the comments last week was talking about picking divisional games, which I agree. Historically, divisional games are much tougher even to just bet on than non-divisional games, but this is a divisional game. But I think you can strongly consider the Cleveland Browns here against the Baltimore Ravens. The Cleveland Browns, you can see they open at minus 122. They've moved to minus 148 despite only getting 39% of the tickets. So the Ravens are a very public underdog here, but the line is still moving towards Cleveland, which is a good sign early. I don't like to bet on public dogs in the NFL anyways. It's historically been just not a good wager to bet on public underdogs in the NFL. But I don't know how you argue against this Cleveland team right now. Baltimore is probably still going to have 2 starting offensive linemen out. The Cleveland Browns have the best defense in the NFL. I will say that. I don't care. You could tell me in the comments I'm wrong all you want. The numbers don't lie. They are the most dominant defense in football right now, and it's not even close. They've allowed 21 first downs this season. The next closest is Buffalo at 41. They're getting to the quarterback at an insane rate. They're locking people down in the secondary at an insane rate. Their defense is not to be messed with. And if the Ravens are still going to be down 2 starting offensive linemen in Ronnie Stanley and Linderbaum, I don't know how they're going to stop this Browns pass rush. The Colts were getting to Lamar Jackson a little bit last week. Definitely think Cleveland will. They're at home. Like I said, they're not public, but the line's moving towards them, which is good. So I think you can consider Cleveland this week, even in a tough spot against the Ravens. But man, if everyone that hasn't used San Fran uses them this week, and then people that haven't used KC use KC this week, and you get by using like the Browns, and you keep San Fran and KC at your disposal with your pool already dwindling after last week's just 2 landmines, I mean, you have to be feeling pretty good. So Cleveland is firmly in my potential picks for the week. And the one other one I wanted to mention was, I guess Philly. Like, if you haven't used Philly, I think you could consider them. Still a team I'd probably prefer to save. But a lot of people used Philly against Minnesota, so I guess you could consider the Eagles. It's all going to come down to ownership, though, and it's why it's so important to check back with me on the weekend after we get that updated picks sheet from Travis and see where the percentage of the picks are going. Dallas, I mean, most people that use Dallas lost because they had them last week, but I could see some people maybe using Dallas at home against New England. But overall for me, safety rating, I would go San Fran number 1, KC number 2. But I'm going to consider Denver if they're not popular, and the Browns will not be popular. And I'm going to strongly consider using the Cleveland Browns on at least one of my entries this week. That about does it. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's Survivor Pool Picks video. Like I said, like the video if you're watching on YouTube. It helps us out. Subscribe to the channel. We're almost to 6K subs on YouTube. It really helps us out. And let me know in the comments on this video who you're using in week 4.